comment tu savais que je faisais semblant? C'était quoi mon erreur?
Plutôt du genre obstiné, toi, hein?
Et alors?
Alors rien. Du moment que tu te retrouves pas en face d'un mur de 2 mètres d'épaisseur,
Touché, mais même le mur le plus épais a son point faible.
c'est juste. Ne me dis pas qu'en plus t'as étudié la philo. Parce que là, j'ai quand même un petit peu de mal à t'imaginer en train de discuter concept de vérité avec des étudiants à cheveux longs.
Pourquoi pas?
Tu es pas beau.
Ça colle pas au personnage.
C'est quoi mon personnage?
Jsem šel, že mimo, ne? Tle jsem ga chtěl stavit. Okay, guys, I guess you can see me. We will start in like 12 minutes. And okay, guys, I guess you can see me. We will start in like 12 minutes. And okay, guys, I guess. Okay, I guess we will slowly start. We will be exact on my watch is 8 p.m. in Ljubljana, Central European time. For the moment, YouTube is saying that there is 7 of you at the moment watching this video. So let me say just a few words before we start this. As I wrote in somehow in the announcement, I shot this movie for a couple thousand of euros of my own money that I invested in the film, and with a lot of help of the other people who worked on this film for free, and also like in the second part in the post-production, a lot of companies in Slovenia did this job for free, in the post-production, so somehow we managed to do this film. And for me it's also it's a great memory, because it's the inside this film is like, you have these photo albums when you are young, going to school or whatever. And for me, in a way, this film is like a photo album. It's the portrait of the people that I hanged with, during the time, my time in Paris. And of course, it's also this film. It has a lot to say about my love to cinema and how I consider cinema, and so on and so on. So in this we will start the film now, and I will try to comment the scenes in the film as they come, try to explain you what I thought at the time, why I did some things, and maybe even I will tell you some anecdotes. So let me put this at the beginning. I press go, and okay, we are going. So the credits are the work of Silvia Vivanco, who was also studying film at the time. And yes, okay, so here we are starting the film. This is the suburbs of Paris. It's not inside, but I think it's the bridge that leads to the 19th arrondissement. So I wanted that my main character, is in the suburbs, and that symbolically every day he has to cross this bridge in order to come to the Paris, which we will now see, which is this bourgeois Paris with this Osman's architecture. As you could see, it's like something that he needs to do every day. Voila, the DOP Karim Raoul. This was shot from the window of his apartment, actually, where he lived. And yes, so and this is the bridge of this Birakim or something, which I will speak later about. That was also shot in the last tango in Paris. So this is somewhere in the 4th arrondissement. Marais, it's the scene. Actually, when I came to Paris, it's very autobiographical. Whenever I went to see, to find the apartment for myself, there were always so many people there that of course they all had better credentials, and they could present better incomes, or I don't know, that I had a really hard time to find the apartment. So that's why at the time I played with the idea that I can do a scam, and like just come before this agent and send the people home, and then at the end I can stay alone for the apartment. So here you will see Caspar. I was before Caspar. Hello again. Casper is a great guy still living at Montmartre in Paris. He was like great. We met on some of the improvising session. And of course Jeffrey Goldberg, who is now running an acting school somewhere in India. So yes, that's it. And of course Montmartre. I was like impressed when I started living at Montmartre, and I went out for a coffee and I recognized these locations from the film Amélie Poulain. There is also this bar there, and Montmartre in the history of the cinema, it was a lot of time. It was a coulisse for a lot of films, also Hollywood films, not just the French cinema. And yes, here it's also, that's also my idea. At one moment I had this idea that maybe I can make money with like guiding tourists around on the famous film location. So I gave this to my main character. So like this is the audition. I think it's a shot also somewhere in the small office at Montmartre, with the scene, and I guess in the dialogue, if you follow it, you will see some of my, let's say, philosophical thinking, like in life about pop culture, and some references on some bands. I guess that I like, and oh yeah, in the background you can see behind Andrew is the poster of the film Desperado Tonic. It's an omnibus that I did in Slovenia before I came to Paris, and it's a nice thing that it find a way in the production design of the film. So you see here you have a human after all, and Daft Punk. Yeah. Okay, so how I met Andrew. My wife, my schoolmate at the time, Mirella, was doing this PSA, public service announcement about epileptic seizures and everything, and Andrew was acting in that, and that's how I met Andrew, and I immediately liked him because he was so, how to say, out of shape. He was so non-French. He was so like not fitting into none of this environment that I said, okay, this can be my character. So they did a great job, and with this PSA with Mirella, but I decided then to put the scene with him provoking the people, like with just having the seizure in the in the in the in the in the streets, and of course here is the it's like what we call in the cinema is boy meets girl moment. American will meet the French girl who will like teach him that he is arrogant, and that the French people, they are not like the Europeans, if you want, are not like that. So this is like, if you want, American in Paris is the reference for this. And yes, Samantha Lariva is the main actress in this film, and yeah, I like her also. I think she did also a very good job, and in showing how like culturally different these two worlds are. But yeah, so let's say Andrew is wearing my leather jacket, which I still wear today, so it's it's nice to see my costume. Okay, this is the bar Chez Camille at Montmartre. and Kaspar is in the scene also, Tita Cvetkovic for those Slovenian for the Slovenians here who maybe know her. And yeah, it's again something, the scene is here what I think of dubbing in the cinema, and you know, some my philosophical, if you want, point of view on the world. And also here we are introducing Katya Nachi, who is like a few night stands, let's say, for like Andrew's character in this film. Okay, so this is Mezzanine. This was my studio at Rue Coulancourt at Montmartre. I used to live here. It was like 20 square meters with this mezzanine over the top. And during the shoot, Tomasz Pavkovic, who was assistant cameraman, who brought all the equipment from Slovenia. This was the look from my view. Who brought all the equipment? He lived there at this apartment with me. So some shots of Montmartre. This is the bridge over Montmartre Cemetery. This is Abbesse, Metro Abbesse, that is the entrance that was also shot in several movies. So we lived there like Tomasz and me with all the equipment. And during the day, Mirella and this another girl that I forgot her name, they cooked for the crew. So you know, it was like a full house all the time. It was it was really great. So this is the squat, I think somewhere near in Belleville, if I remember properly. It's the squat, and it's also, this scene is like avant-garde theater, or how do you want to call it. It's you know, at the time I was very intrigued with Antoine Artaud, like a great theater director. You know, I read his books. He had a lot of these theories about pure theater. And this is Raphael Ozan, who is like in this film representing my version of Artaud. By the way, Raphael accepted me. I lived at his place first 3 weeks when I came to Paris, and I didn't have my apartment, and that's because Raphael went to New York years before, and he was accepted also by a friend of a friend, by Jörg Malotki, the German actor, who like put a word for me, so I could, as friend of a friend, stay at his place. And this is, I need to check, I think it's a cafeteria of ENSA, this production design school. We did some exercises there, and I liked the place, so I decided to shoot. Again, you will see some here, some autobiographical jokes. I mean, I'm like a quite good chess player, and I like to do that, and obviously the girls will be mocking about chess, you know, so it's yeah. And that's Celia Pilaster, if I remember properly, playing best friend of Samantha in this movie, and I think she's still in Paris, and I think she has quite a career like acting in the films, and yeah, she was also very, very nice. So yeah, after the chess champion you find this nutcase. Okay, so yeah, yeah, costumes are mostly like what we put together, I didn't have no one like taking care especially for costumes, so I actually choose them by myself together with actors and actresses, what they had in their garderobes. And of course to Andrew I gave I gave some of my things, the leather jacket I think he's wearing most of the movie, and the crazy shirts are his. I like them, and even some people told me like, oh yeah, the guy was like great, like wearing those crazy shirts. And this is like where two of them will start meeting, and here it's like what I wanted to bring out is my memories of this nouvelle vague, the new wave film directors, because they approached to these scenes with boy meets girl, like with such a lightness, with something, with so much fun, with so much wittiness. So I wanted to bring some of that into those scenes. And this is, I think, Place Sorbonne. I think if it's called, or it's somewhere near Sorbonne, and the name is something else. I don't really know. But I wanted to feel this student, that you can feel this student environment here, and so now I think it starts the part of the cinema where two of them are just spending the time in Paris. So you have to be aware that we really did this film without any money, and we were stealing the shots wherever we came, so no dollies, no nothing. It was mostly handheld and tripod, and so yeah, this we are already on the metro now. I'm not sure which metro station is that. Is it a best? I don't know. It's like quite a long corridor to come to the metro, and it's all with this graffiti and all that, and again some philosophy also about, like, here is the somehow I'm thinking also about this Japanese filmmaker Ozu, who was always putting the camera on the height of the children, so making the children's point of view. So here I'm making, in a way, I'm making fun about that, about the point of view, about, if you want, the camera angles. And now we are on metro, and of course on metro is forbidden to shoot, so of course we were stealing this shot, and yeah, so we are continuing with this. And now, of course, because every member of the crew appeared in this movie, so this is the DOP Karim Raoul and assistant camera Tomasz Pavkovic. They appeared in this shot here. So again, somewhere in the fourth arrondissement, I don't know where this, as I said, the scene continues, and this pseudo-philosophical dialogue continues, and I just wanted to be with two of them, two of them in Paris. That sounds like a recipe for everything you need, the couple in Paris, a little bit in love, that's it, that's enough. And I think now, yeah, they will see, we will have okay, before that, yeah, I was a chain smoker at the time. You will have a lot of, Andrew will do some tricks with cigarettes also, and it was quite funny to look at him training these things. So here is where this, I think one of these guys, two of them are French, and one of these guys is a brother of Luc Walpott, who is a great guy and who was also working on this shoot, my friend. And this guy was in Paris at the time, so okay, the classical chasing scene. You know, in every film has to be one chasing scene. I think I did it also, and they run around. I think around one of these churches or whatever. But yeah, they manage to escape. So yeah.
Et qu'est-ce que tu leur as fait pour qu'ils soient prêts à te foutre la gueule comme ça?
Rien, c'était plutôt relaxant. J'ai joué le rôle d'un agent immobilier. Et pour voir jusqu'où il rend les gens pour avoir un appartement.
Okay, a moment of silence, just from me. Okay, I think now we are going in the night. We are staying like in the area. It's we are still in the fourth arrondissement. Of course, I tried, because we didn't have any light here. I tried to find a street that it has some kind of lighting somewhere. Karim Raoul, the DOP, was not satisfied. So I guess here we just have one of these small battery lights that is adding some light on the faces of two of them, but we really did it without any lighting. And just in the shop near is selling coffee, so they came like in the night and you know, try to bring some boxes inside, and you know, we couldn't say like we reserved this location, so we helped them. So they were very satisfied and they gave us even some coffee at the end. We helped them because we wanted them to go away as soon as possible. So I don't remember actually where we shot this, but this is like it's the one very small apartment somewhere where the scene will repeat. In this apartment we will see another scene. But a lot of, I mean, in Paris I saw the smallest apartments in the world, like few square meters, just the bed, even like without. And okay, that's again the bridge that he has to cross every day, and you have this trains below. Okay, so this we shot at the Pigalle. It's like adult place show, or how adult show place, or I don't even remember I don't know how do you call this it's like for pole dancing, but it was abandoned. Like I think it was as they told me, the information was due to some mafia thing or whatever. So some people squatted it, so it's a squat, you know, and we paid them some little money, so we were able to shoot here. And here also, like the guy behind the camera is Khaled Salem, a great guy from Egypt. He is also one of the guys that we spend a lot of time together. He worked as an editor a lot in Paris. And yeah, this is Francois Périsset, is also an actor, but I think also a director, and I don't remember. But here my idea actually of this scene was Gaspar Noé, because I think once I saw him in Sarajevo Film Festival, he was explaining like how he said once to an actor, how can you imagine that I can present like the law without seeing the explicit sex, you know? And of course then, you know, it became the scene for porno, you know, in this case, but you know, it was because I couldn't reach Gaspar Noé, because the original idea was that Gaspar Noé would be like preparing a new film, but he wanted from the characters to do the explicit sex. So that's a little bit for our main guy was a bit too much, you know. Yeah. So. So obviously he will not do it. Okay, so this is a wider shot of the place, yeah. Like you can see the poles for pole dancing and this circle where the but I made the shot at Pigalle. Okay, so this is the scene that I shot it on advice of my dear colleague and professor Nenad Dizdarovic. When he saw the first cut of the film, he said maybe you need something that like religious, but religious that he is like devoted to the cinema. And I think I still think it's a great idea, and somehow it brought this film fetish furthermore in the film. So another the stairs somewhere at Montmartre. This is also Montmartre, and so you know Casper again, and here you will. Yeah, now is coming the trick with the cigarette. Yeah. He managed, and yes, now again some philosophy, pseudo philosophy from Andrew.
Je pense que Freud avait raison. Tout dans cette ville est lié au sexe.
And Boris. Okay, and this is the scene at the Acar Film School, and it was also shot after I made the first cut, and I felt that because I will appear in this film also at the end, after I made the first cut, I figured out that it's maybe I'm coming too much of the Deus Ex Machina, so although that was like the idea, like Godard in a bout de souffle or whatever, but still I decided to make a scene where I will introduce myself well, I will introduce myself as a character, and here you have this, I like to use this on the shoot. We are young, we are beautiful, we love life. That's how I motivate the crew and the actors, you know. And so now you will see me. Okay, that's me in the role of myself, you know. And this is Inti Šraj, also a great Slovenian actor who I met after I shot the first part of the film, so of course she was happy to do the part in this scene. And it was shot at the Acar Film School. You know. Yeah, okay, so I don't know what's next. I don't remember the movie by heart. Okay, yeah, Shekami. Again, Shekami, I should tell a story about Shekami. Rafael Lozan, the guy that, I stayed with, that's the bar that he worked in. So, I was like happy enough that we didn't pay any money and we were able to shoot the scenes here in the morning. without, and there is Tom Henze on the right. He's also a film director from Germany, the right guy drinking a beer now. He's like an extra in this part of the scene, and yeah, and this is Katia Nachi, also like a French actress, who I also met on one of the shoots. I don't know. So yeah, Chez Camille, Montmartre. Here, this is also the place where I had the first screening when I came to Paris. And yeah. So yeah, Chez Camille, Montmartre. Okay, so this is Pont Neuf, and yeah, so okay, yes, so another friend of mine, filmmaker, who is also very successful in his career, Adriano Valerio, is in this scene, and you could see the parents and the sister of Luc Walpott, who I mentioned before, were that weekend or whatever, they were visiting the Paris. So they of course they decided, I don't know if they were really satisfied, but like, however, they accepted to appear, Adriano and Justine, I think Justine was her name, his girlfriend at the time. And you know, of course, this is like my homage, if you want to. I don't know how you pronounce Leos Carax, the film director who made this film, The Lovers of Pont-Neuf Bridge, and Les Amants de Pont-Neuf. And it's a great movie. I like a lot. It's Juliette Binoche and this other guy. Let's see, I don't know what was his name. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Yeah, Denis Lavang. It's a great guy, and he's like playing this, character, living on the street, performing art, and Juliette Binoche is this paintress, and it's just amazing love story, and well, like through this scene, it's my homage to that, and this is actually the exact place where those scenes were shot. Another of these ideas that maybe I will make money by taking the students around and explain them and explain them like what's going on. Okay, someone commented that was a mess. I think those corridors were a mess with the graffiti. Thank you, Clone Hunter. I don't know who is Clone Hunter, but thank you, Clone Hunter. Okay, so here it is now. Andrew is explaining what I explained to you, that life in Paris wasn't easy. I was at one moment I was working at the Orly airport, taking care of I was in the luggage department, and that's how I made money for my studies. So, like taking care of luggages at the Orly airport. And oh yeah, okay, so here it is, the Notre Dame that is now like destroyed, and this is Cinema Balzac. It's one of the first art cinemas in Paris, and I was writing for this Mladina magazine in Ljubljana, the reportage about Arte Essay cinemas, and I was also at the Cinema Balzac. This is, now you will see Jean-Jacques Spoliansky. he is the owner of this cinema, which has like 3 salls, and his grandfather opened the cinema in somewhere in 1920s, I think. And this cinema is like just near Champs-Élysées, the famous place, and Mr. Spoliansky was telling me how difficult it is because the capital is pressing, and how difficult it is to maintain the cultural content inside this very capitalistic environment. So this is the real character, and we also shot here, I think almost for free. We just paid some money for the projectionist who was like projecting the film, and of course the film is straight ahead. It's my short film because of course author's rights, I couldn't afford to screen anything else than like my film. So these are the shots. 98 or 97 I shot this film. I got my first international award with this film. So yeah, Balzac Cinema, great place. Jean-Jacques Spoliansky, great guy. I hope he's still alive, and I hope the cinema is still running, and Champs-Élysées with Arc de Triomphe, of course you have to have it in the film, at least in one shot. Okay, so this is again, we are like in front of her apartment. It's the same location that we were before. Maybe even like, so the because we shot those 2 scenes together, it's here where the coffee the coffee scene happened. Like we helped those guys like to bring in like, I don't know, 50 boxes of coffee, and then they gave us some coffee, and we managed to shoot. But you see, extreme low budget, no lighting, some lights. I mean, poor Karim Raoul, and the situation I put him in, he was he was not really satisfied. I guess in the evening, every evening we watched rushes at my place. I don't know. I guess he suffered a little bit. Okay, so the sex scene, but I should not comment maybe the sex scene, I guess. So yeah, again, I wanted to have this lightness between 2 characters, and we are shooting. This is the apartment of the, and I forgot her name, of this Italian girl who was supposed to play this main female character, but then at the end somehow we didn't get along. I don't know what, I don't remember the reasons, but she still she let us shoot this scene in her apartment, and I just wanted to have this lightness in the relationship between guy and the girl, and I didn't want that their conversation, I didn't want it to be cheesy, and I don't know, I don't know, maybe then today I would do this, maybe I would do this scene differently, but I think it's still good, me, I can watch it, I don't know about you, and maybe I should say the YouTube is saying that there is 11 viewers at the time watching this. I'm quite satisfied with that. Sometimes if we screen some films in Cinematheque in Ljubljana, we don't have even 11 spectators, so I think it's quite okay to have 11 viewers and in these days, you know, on the internet.
Intéressant.
Uh,
C'est ce qui est intéressant aussi.
what will happen now?
Laisse-moi faire.
Yeah. Okay, so yes, here I wanted, I think she will, yeah, again about the languages, you know. In Paris I used to speak 4 languages every day, like I spoke English, of course, most of the time. I spoke French in the communication with the French people. I spoke Slovenian with some friends from Slovenia, and I spoke Serbo-Croatian with some friends from Bosnia and Balkan countries. So it's a kind of schizophrenic state of mind, like every day, like jumping from all those languages. And then, you know, on the other side, you, of course, I met a lot of people that they couldn't even speak like the second language. They could speak just one language, and you know, I mean, I don't want really to judge now, but most of them were Americans, you know, Americans, like just being able just to speak one language. So that's why I did this. I remember there is this joke, and you know, it's a little bit auto-ironic. You know, Andrew is saying it in the auto-ironic way, and yeah.
Américain.
Mais tu parles français,
Oui, mais je suis un typique.
pas de mal avec ça.
Okay, so another church scene. So this one is actually funny. After having sex, he's running to confess. I like it. You know, I like it a lot. So this was shot in the apartment where Karim DOP lived at the time, and you know, this is Flores Cardo, I think it's her name. Very nice old lady, and I also met her on some students' shoot, and you know, I don't. I want to give like Samantha this humanitarian image, like of a young person who is like doing the studies and, you know, trying to survive, but on the other hand trying also to do something for the society, you know. And although I don't think it's not really clear is she her grandmother, but you know, I wanted that she has this like the thing that she's helping also voluntary, that she's doing some voluntary service, that she's helping to some elderly people, you know, in their life. And of course, she as a character will get wisdom from them, because that's one thing that old people can give you to the young ones, the wisdom. Yes. So.
Mais il est sympa, il est intéressant et un peu
Okay, so again, as I said, this was shot. It's Artaud, my Antonin Artaud, you know, Raphael in the role of Antonin Artaud, who, by the way, Antonin Artaud, this great theater director, and if you want the thinker about the theater and acting in general, at one moment said, all the hashish in Paris has to be on disposal of great Artaud for him to be able to finish his creative work. So I like that. And obviously now the Raphael is giving one of these typical Artos speeches about not being artificial, like carrying this real sentiment, the emotion, the real emotion, and everything. So I guess I mix some of the Artos ideas with my own ideas at the time, and it came again. This at the moment is pseudo philosophical thing about the life, the cinema, the theater, the art, if you want, everything. But yeah, Raphael did a good job, and yeah. Okay, so this is, oh yeah, they are going to horse races now. I think it's somewhere in Bois de Boulogne, in this horse race. And of course I couldn't shoot there, I couldn't shoot the people, and but the funny thing, as you can see, as you will see now, we shot some of the horses and something really quick, so I went there with Karim, with DOP, and at one moment we shot the close-up shot, the detail shot of the hand passing €2 to make a bet, which you will see now, and of course we need to really do that, someone needed to place a bet, so I bet on the horse that had the worst odds of all of them. I remember still 1 against 36 and that horse won. So for €2 I won that day €72. So of course immediately we ordered there a bottle of champagne, which cost probably half of that money, or maybe even more, it doesn't matter. But we celebrated it immediately, and it was great, like betting €2 and winning the bet, the horse. This is Bois de Boulogne, this like the park, the wood, at the edge of the Paris. It's actually near this Roland Garros fields and whatever. So again, you see, I was Kaspar is doing this improvisation in Paris. I think he's still doing that. And me, I used to do that before in Slovenia. It was called Impro League. We were like different teams competing. And then of course you have like different genres, different things, mixing together and presenting them in the funny way. So it's again, I just wanted that 2 of them will do something light, but not cheap, not cheesy, this, like romantic scene from the Hollywood films, but that it's that it has a certain element of craziness inside inside that. So I guess I succeeded. I think. Okay, so this is the lobby of the apartment where I used to live. This is Rue Coulancourt at Montmartre, and yeah. And that's we are again back at this apartment before, and cultural differences, it's like American, French, whatever, and it's a funny thing with my wife, we are also different cultures, and a lot of times when we do something different, we always say cultural differences. So, I think these days everything is like everything is possible according to cultural differences. Like you have different approaches to everything, even you know, to the way you wash the dishes, or you know, to do the completely stupid stupid and simple things, but you know we do them differently, and you know it's amazing. It just shows how like different we still are, you know, our environment. So I wanted to present that through the through this through this thing with the food. But you know, I think there is also this slight moment where I wanted to show that the French, as a culture, they can be pretentious, you know, and a little bit too much sometimes, you know. So yeah, maybe it was both. Yeah. We are back. Ah, okay, no, she is calling.
No, it's not Vince. Forgot he's calling my partner. No, he's just left. Yes, but yeah, I'm pleased to meet you, Mrs. Wilder. My name is Zoe. I'm Vince's friend.
Ah, yeah, now Vince's mother is calling. Oh, yeah. Okay, I forgot, I'm sorry. Again, Montmartre. I don't remember which metro station is this, but here also there were some films shot. As you can see, people are watching because we are stealing these shots. And you know, they were supposed to go to the party, but you know, that day, this was the last day of shoot. That day, this guy cancelled us location, so we couldn't make a party. And then this scene, this is Marc-Antoine Frédéric, was shot in the apartment of Jean Nicolas, the sound guy who was doing sound of the film. He was generous to let us shoot the scene in his apartment. So instead of being at the party, and I don't remember how much I had to change the dialogue, some, but you know, and you know, I decided to shoot it here at this apartment, and you know, Marc Antoine is playing this, you know, French director again, pretentious, you know, and you know, Andrew is like trying to trying to, you know, listen and be nice, but obviously at the end trying to smoke cigar and trying to smoke cigar, but you know, it doesn't really work for him. And yeah, you know, and I guess I found myself in it just shows like once you are somewhere abroad and you try to make a living, and you know, you try to make kind of career, or you know, succeed in something, it just shows like what are the things that you are ready to do, how much bullshit actually you are ready to eat in certain occasions, thinking that it might help you in your life, you know. Again, you know, I don't know, Montmartre, I guess, and again this scene will finish with the dance scene, and I really wanted that, you know, they dance on the music of Greek Zorba. Don't ask me why. Somehow I had in mind, like, making this scene that they will dance on the Greek Zorba music, but of course we couldn't get the rights for that. So they are dancing now on the song. It's called Tu tvoj močima, in your eyes. It's a Slovenian group, demolition group, which I managed again to get for free because they were friends of mine, or they are friends of mine, they know each other, and they allowed us to use this song in the film. So now we have this crazy dancing, I think I tried to explain them like that this dance is about pride, it's like this Greek men are dancing this, having in mind still Zorba the Greek, it's with the pride, with the dignity, with the power and everything. So they are trying in a way to mock that, I guess. It's I like it. I like it. It's nice, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so that's that apartment that I don't remember whose apartment was that. And I was shocked because I met one of the guys from the United States in Paris, and we were speaking a little bit about this American dream, about the things, And he actually told me it's a real story, and of course I embellished it a little bit, put some details, but he told me that his father, he told his father that he will go to Paris to study something, and that he will not continue doing continuing the job that his father had, some kind of that his father got so angry, and that he said, I don't know like how, I don't know the English word to this something, he said, you are not my son anymore, you betrayed everything I believe in. And I was like, for me it was shocking, this like that this American dream is actually is like stronger than religion, because you have in these religious societies, you have these things that someone, when the son marries or daughter marries someone from the other religion, they say, you are not my son, you are not my daughter, you betrayed the religion. But like, you betrayed American dream, it's like what the fuck, I mean, I'm interested in other things, it's I was, that was amazing, like how strong is that in the American society. And yeah, I mean, I had the opportunity, like a lot of Americans in Paris at that time actually escaped because of Bush. They escaped and they came to live to Paris. Oh, okay, that's like that's my favorite scene, So this is actually the street where Acim Vasic is also one of the. He's a director from Belgrade. He still lives in Paris, I think. He's a great guy. And this is the street where Jean-Luc Godard shot this famous scene from the film A Bout de Souffle. Breathless is I think Breathless is the. Caspar is saying authentic, cheapest possible beers from Ed L'Epicier. It's like Ed, this chain, Arab chain, where the cheapest things were selling, where most greasy salami and everything. So we bought beers there, obviously. Like that's a good one, Caspar. I like it. And of course, just to continue, so this is the street where Godard shot this, and I decided to make an homage that you will see. It's a direct quote of Jean-Paul Belmondo running. So this is it's a quote. Music from the band Quate Briga, Slovenian. And of course, just to continue, so this is the street where the dad shot this. I decided to okay. Clone Hunter, are you Andrew Shemin? That was because Clone Hunter is saying that was Thor's apartment. Thor was also one of the student, Norwegian or Danish or something. That was at the time in Paris. So thank you. Yes, Thor's apartment. Okay, so here is the Andrew is impersonating Jean-Paul Belmondo's last thing in Abu Souf. And again, Shekami, Kaspar and Andrew and oh yeah, okay, so Clone Hunter is Andrew Shemin. Andrew, where are you now? Let us know what's going on with you. I've lost somehow contact with you. Swedish, okay, Thor is Swedish. Yes, so okay, here now it's coming this, it's the first Deus Ex Machina scene, you know, how to finish the film. I had to bring the father from from United States, so now Andrew is meeting his father. It's almost like Darth Vader from the Star Wars. Like, you know, he came here, and this is Randy Hold'em, also very nice guy who lived at the time in Paris. I don't know what's going on with him. Okay, Andrew is saying that he's still in New York and sometimes in Paris. I guess still working with cinema and other things like producing, directing, acting, all that. Yeah. So okay, then let's get back to the movie. Yeah. So Randy is now now the again it's really like, you know, how to finish the movie. It's like, what has screenwriter to offer to finish this movie? Okay, we need like a conflict now, so father will come and he will tell him what, you know. It's like I don't know. It's, I guess, good for a first film. Yes. Okay. So now this, I love this. How to steal $1 million shot. We shoot this like 2 or 3 weeks before the actual shoot, and there were like demonstrations in Paris at Place République. They were demonstrations against the European Constitution. So we went with a very small crew, 3 or 4 of us, and you know, and I said to Andrew, just run against the group of the people, and it's very nice where you have like group of people all facing one direction and your main character is going into the other direction. And okay, so conflict scene, yes. So now I mean, when I think about this script, it's really, we were, you know, I wrote it and I changed it all the time as the things were happening. A lot of life of each one of us is in this script, and you know, it's I think I love the film. Still, I now that I'm watching and I'm like enjoying a lot, you know. And yeah. So let me see where we are going now. Okay, this is L'Art Brut. It's the bar in the center of Paris, just near Georges Pompidou, and again some Montmartre, like crisis. Andrew doesn't know what to do. You know, it's near Seine in the morning. We shot this at 4 or 5 in the morning. I remember it was, yeah, quite. And so the third time, because as you know, all the good things in the films happens 3 times. We have the church. The third time he's going to the church to find some answers. And you know, so now Deus Ex Machina, second time, how to finish the film. So you see, it's an ad for the audition, you know. And this is Etna. It's the Super 8 studio. Mirella Haber, my wife. It's now she appears in the film. And that's me, you know. So this is the audition at Etna Studio. Sebastian Cross, a dear friend of mine at the time, allowed us to shoot here. It's the association dealing with Super 8 films, and you will see later some Super 8 footage that Sebastian did for this film. And you know, that's me trying to do my best in the role of a film director, and you know. Yes, yes. I'm trying to do my perfect French accent, but it's not, you know, I'm not really good at it. Yeah. So okay, this is maybe, but I don't know. I wanted to go into this cheesy happy end, but you know, for me this is like the cheesiest scene in the film. I couldn't find the better idea, the more creative. It's I don't know, it's very Hollywoodic. It's not really original. It's I don't know. I wouldn't shoot it today, definitely not. But what can you do? Now it's there, and there it is, and as you can see, this image, Karim actually managed even to do some lighting. I think he had few lights for this scene, so it's even this, you know, the good lighting. It adds to this cheesiness of this of the scene. But here is the Phantom of the Opera appears. Oh shit, man! I mean it's okay. Yeah. It's a love scene. It's a Paris, and Paris, city of love. What can you do?
J'imagine qu'on peut faire comme si de rien n'était.
Comme si rien s'était passé. Et j'ai envie de réparer mes erreurs.
So this is the moment, as you know, in the screenwriting they would say our character learned all about his mistakes, and now he's ready to change himself, you know, in the future. He learned during the film, he learned the lesson, you know. And of course, it's like it's also again so this is like the Super 8 footage that we shot like few weeks before the the shoot, you know, and now we are like it's like and this is this Bir Hakeim bridge where the last tango in Paris, this is like where Marlon Brando is walking with this alone or with trying to impress Maria Schneider, and this is Tuileries, Park Tuileries, of course some famous locations in Paris, you know. We shot them all. And okay, so what to say? Last but not least, it's director himself again appears trying to speak perfect French, and of course not oh, Kaspar is saying that his girlfriend says it's romantic, but yeah, I guess it is, you know, but at the time, you know how it was. I really tried to break these rules, break the dramaturgy, try to do something fresh, innovative. I agree, it is romantic, and people like the film and everything. And okay, here we are. You know, what can be more cheesy than the kiss at the end of the film? You know, and going. They are going. You know, that's why I'm going here into the black and white. So they are going into the cinema, into the film. So yeah, so that's the end of the film. Here are the credits. Thank you everyone for watching it. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that I managed to like give you some more information about certain things, about what I thought at the time, what I tried to do in this in this film, and you know, as they say, you don't forget the first. You never forget the first, either boyfriend, girlfriend, or the film. So this was my first film. Of course, I will never forget it, and I will never forget also the time that you know I spent in Paris with all of the people, all of you also watching here. Kaspar and Andrew are here. I don't know, no one else is saying hello. I guess we were just from that generation, just three of us. Obviously Corona is not keeping all the people at home. So I don't know, I hope that's the end, yes. So I hope you are all healthy and good, and I hope you are all enjoying in the life and doing the creative things that we did also together, and you know, let's continue staying in touch on Facebook, whatever, and yeah, I don't know, I will wait like a minute or two more to see if anyone will add anything into chat, but if not, dear people, take care. See you next time when I retire and I make another low budget movie. Okay.